Hey guys, I want to make a really quick video, as quick as I can, providing details of the stuff that I'm going to be taking with me on a multi-day trip through Washington. So I'm just jumping right in. I wanted to kind of make this a short video instead of a long one, but provide as much detail as possible. So let's talk about my cooking kit. That's going to be first on the list, and this is from GSI. It's a soloist kit, and the fuel canister fits right in there. I don't use the spoon. I have a different spoon that I'll use, but the lid and the cup fits right in, and it makes it very compact and easy to pack. So I really like this. Next is the Pocket Rocket from MSR. This little thing boils water really quickly, and it packs down very small, so it doesn't take up any space at all. And that's kind of why I really like bringing it along. So the next thing I have is just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff, and I kind of like packing it in a plastic bag instead of using a box because it's just more portable. So here's kind of what I have in it: a little sponge that I cut out from a bigger sponge, a rag to dry stuff off with, matches, lighter. I know this is redundant. I know there's like two sources of fire right here, but you can never be too sure. The next thing I have is, gosh, it's a third source of fire. So now I have matches, I have a lighter, and I have this fire steel. Why I don't know, but I figure it's better to be able to start a fire anywhere. If one thing goes out, I can use something, I can use a backup fire source. The fire steel is from Light My Fire, and it works really well. Highly recommend it. Next, I have this little can opener. I rarely take cans with me, but I'm bringing it just in case because it's small enough. And next we've got little trash bags and napkins. Next is tin foil. You should always carry tin foil with you. I find it's helpful for when I want to roast something by the fire, and if I happen to catch a fish, then I use the tinfoil to wrap it and again put it over the fire. And it's just something that I find really good to have on hand. Next, we've got, these are cotton balls that I've dipped in wax. They're fire starters, and all you do is lift up the tuft of cotton balls, and it starts right up. It burns for about maybe 15 minutes, but if you can't get a fire started within 15 minutes, then I don't know what else will work for you, but I find these to be really good, and they pack really well. Next is the citronella candle for the bugs that we run into. I like this one. It's really small and portable. Like it a lot. And again, I use a plastic bag. I don't like boxes because plastic, the more you take out of it, the less compact the more compact it becomes, and you don't have to carry this big bulky thing. So that's it for my kitchen. And here's this little sliver of a picnic tablecloth, just to make me feel more comfy, cozy. So that's that. The next thing I have is the stable. It's supposed to be a fuel stabilizer. It goes you put your fuel can on top of it, and it's supposed to prevent spills, and it just makes it more stable. I don't use it when it's on a picnic table, but if it's on the ground and the ground's uneven, then that's when I find it most useful. But again, it's small, light, and I can pack it. The spoon that I use is this long titanium spoon, and I like it because when I use a Mountain House freeze-dried package, you can really scoop down in there without getting your hands all kind of full of food residue, and it's great for stirring the pot. And it's I really like the lightness of it and the weight of it, and just it's really functional. Next is my Mora Bushcraft carbon black knife. It's supposed to be one of the best, bushcrafting knives, and I use it to cut my food, to kind of whittle whenever I need to whittle, and I use it as my fire starter. Instead of the little flint, I'll use the back of this knife, and it works better than the little flint with my fire steel. That's what they made this back of the knife flat for, is exactly that. But I find it really useful, and it makes me feel safe to have it along. So all of this will go into this one green bag, and it's all of my kitchen stuff. Next, we'll move on to lighting. This is my lighting bag and electronics. I keep everything in its own bag. The first thing I have is this black diamond lantern. For such a small item, it gives out a great deal of light. I like it a lot. It's small, it's lightweight. What you can do is you pull it open and you push it on, and it comes up bright, but it also has this dimming feature. I don't know if you can see it, but it just dimmed down. And it's got these hooks that you can hang up on your tent, at the inside of your tent, so it gives a lot of light on the inside of it. And when you set it out on your picnic table, it gives out such a great ray of light. So I really like that a lot. Next is my luxury item. This is just for fun. It is an Eno hammock light. It sort of resembles Christmas lights, and I'll hang it kind of outside my tent, or I'll hang it kind of on the ridge line of the hammock, and it gives off kind of a really nice ambiance. And it's got a couple of different settings. I don't know if you could see it, but it's got a bright setting, it's got a low setting, and it's got flashing, and then it's got kind of a disco mode, I guess. But again, it's my luxury item, and it's just fun to have, and I can always find my tent in the night, so that's another plus for it. I also have in here my buck knife. I don't really know why I keep it in here. I just do, because I already have a Mora knife, but I've had this buck knife for so long. Gosh, it's about 10 years old. I used it for backpacking and hiking long before I had the Mora knife, and I just don't want to, leave it behind. So I just take it with me. It's small enough, it's light enough, and I'll just keep it with the rest of my gear. It's not a big deal. Next is my black diamond headlamp. I like this one. It's light enough. It's not so bulky. Doesn't feel heavy on your head. It's got a couple of different modes, about 4 different modes. The high beams, the low beams, and it's got the infrared or the red at night. And it's got, I don't know, a wide angle and narrow, but I like it. Next is this Lucy solar lantern. I am not sold on this at all. I got it because of a couple of recommendations, and from friends of mine in our sport or dual sport riding group, and they really like it. But for me, it just does not give out as much light as I would like. I mean, it's great. It's small, it's compact, it's solar, so if you run out of batteries on the other light sources, this is great. But for me, it just does not have a really good output. In the tent, it's fine, it's adequate. You could see what's in the tent, but if you put it on a picnic table, it really doesn't do anything in terms of lighting. You'll be able to see where the picnic table is, and that's about it. But jury's still out. I don't know if I'm going to keep bringing it. It's small enough where I should, but I don't know. I'm not a fan. Let's just say I'm not a fan right now. I have this little box that I store my electronics in. And it's just, I don't have a lot of electronics, but this is useful. I've got my batteries for my Spot GPS tracker. In here, I also have my GoPro battery, as well as extra SD card, and of course the USB cable. And this is my Easy ACC. I guess it stands for accessory, Easy Accessory, 10,000 milliamp portable battery charger. And it's really good. It's got dual ports, so you can charge a couple of devices at the same time, which I like. And you can tell, how much power is left by, pressing a button. A couple of lights will show up depending on how full it is, so you know when you need to recharge it. But it's really convenient. I like having it along, and I like this little case. Everything packs really nicely, and it's really all I need for my electronics. But the best set of electronics I have is my Kindle and my phone. My phone has all my music on it. It's got a bunch of videos on it. It's my entertainment. And my Kindle, of course, has my book library on it. And I will never, ever be bored camping or on a trip because of these two items. Moving along, this is my REI Flex Light chair. Really, really super easy to put together, super light, and very, very compact. There's heavier and better chairs, I'm sure, but this is perfect for me. This is the hammock that I ordered off eBay for $15. It's really identical to the Eno. If you can get a knockoff, just do so. I wouldn't pay $50-$60 for a hammock. This is perfect for me. It's worked really, really well, and I don't feel guilty about paying for something that I may or may not use. My BMW half cover I really like. It's ugly on the bike. But it keeps all of the debris and all the needles and everything that fall off the tree that I park under. Keeps all that stuff away. It keeps, raccoons or whatever critters from crawling on my bike seat and tearing that up. So it's really useful. This is my combination toiletry / emergency kit that I put together. The bag itself, I have a microfiber towel that came with the bag. I like the bag so much, and so I repurposed it for this, and I took the towel and just put it in with my clothes bag. But the way this works is just super, super convenient. So on this side, I've got my camp suds, I've got my brush and mirror, toothpaste, toothbrush, and this is my kind of wet wipes for the woods, I guess. But that's what they are. They're wet wipes for camping. On the other side, this is my first aid kit. There's a bunch of stuff in there. I've got my DEET bug repellent. I've got this sting off thing in case I'm bitten by a bee or something. This is supposed to alleviate the sting or the pain. What else do I have in here that I can see? I've got my emergency poncho. I've got emergency blanket. I've got my burn gel, Band-Aids, aspirin. The heat grips, the hot pads, or in case it gets cold, my hands get cold. I've got those heat pad things. So that's kind of about it, not a lot. Extra fuel can, always take along. And this is the tarp that I got from Etowah Outfitters. It's super light and super compact. It packs smaller than what it is right now. I just have it at its regular size, but it didn't cost a lot. It's ultra light. It's big. I think it's about 8 by 8. And in case it rains, I can use it as cover over my tent or over my picnic area. So that is pretty much all that will fit There's more that can fit, but this is all that I'm going to take that will fit into the Moscow Moto bag. And you might need more or less, but this really is all that I need. Oh, and I also have this cable lock that I use to secure the Moscow Moto bag to my rack. It's not heavy duty. It's more of a deterrent than anything else. But it gives me ease of mind when I walk away from my bike by, having the cable and the lock around the bag and my rack. Oh, and there's one more thing. This is my my sink. I guess my kitchen sink. It's I didn't want to pay $30 for the Sea to Summit kitchen sink, which is just a small little 5 or 10 liter round thing. This is only $10, and it's got 2 compartments. One to rinse and one to wash. And it's big enough that I can wash my dishes. It's big enough that I can wash my laundry if I wanted to, my socks and whatnot in here. And it's light, it's compact, doesn't cost a fortune, and it really, it's an optional item. But I think it's good if you have space for something like this. I think it's good to take along. Really, really better, I think, in my opinion, than the round Sea to Summit little kitchen sink. So for my first pannier, it's just going to be clothes and food and water. So that's it. And as far as water goes, I'm using this dromedary bag. I like it because if it's empty, it doesn't take up a lot of space. You use it if you need it. If you don't, it floats away nicely. We have it rigged up to where you can hang it and heat it up, and you can take a shower with it or wash your hands, or virtually can make it hands-free. So I like that. This is my food bag, and I don't know if you've seen my other video, but I'm still using the same system that I've been using for the past 6 months or so. For however many days that I'm going, I just grab a bag of food. Each bag has breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. I don't have to think about it. I'll just kind of grab however many I need. Like if I'm going for 4 days, I'll grab 4 bags, maybe an extra bag, knowing that most of the time I might be eating out, but at least I'll have enough food in case I ended up in the backcountry. I also have been camping in areas that attract bears, so I have this carabiner here on the end, and 50 foot of rope that I can use to do a bear hang. So just want to make sure that the critters stay out of my food. I've learned my lesson from one of my camping trips when I left for a little while and came back, and my food was scattered throughout the campground. So lesson learned. I now kind of hang my bag whenever I leave camp, or whenever I get ready to turn in for the night. So that's that. Next is my clothes bag. I'm not going to tell you what to bring or what not to bring. You guys probably already know that. There's only a couple of things that I do want to share with you in terms of what I would recommend. And the first thing is, this microfiber towel that I got. It's really small, compact. It's so much better than carrying a cotton towel with you, a cotton bath towel with you. This dries. It's lightweight. It dries so quick, so fast. And this is kind of the large size, and it just works for me. So highly recommend. The next thing that I would probably suggest, and this works for me, is to have a pair of silkies. I use this because I don't like sleeping in my shorts or my skivvies. at night in case I need to get out of the tent for whatever reason. I don't want to put clothes on. But if I wear these silk underwear, they're kind of long pants underwear made of silk, and the shirt is long sleeve. Again, silkies. In the wintertime, I'll change it over to woolies to keep me extra warm. But I need to sleep in something at night, just in case I need to get out of the tent for whatever reason. So those are the only two pieces of things that I would kind of recommend, if anything else. But that would go in my first pannier. For pannier number 2, it's just my tent and my sleep system. For my sleeping pad, I have the Thermarest Women's Pro Light pad. It is rated 4.3. I need really a warm pad because, like I said before, I don't know if I said before, but I do get really, really cold, and I can get a smaller, thinner pad if I wanted to. It just doesn't have the warmth rating that I need, and I will certainly feel the cold ground beneath me, but this ought to work really well. And I have this inflatable pillow that I just wrap around it. I don't like putting it in a stuff bag, so I just kind of wrap it with this inflatable pillow, and then wrap it with this webbing, and that's all. It's compact, and I don't have to fuss with any additional bags. For my sleeping bag, I use the North Face Cat's Meow 20-degree sleeping bag. It's the women's version, and like I said, it's I wish I could have something that's smaller than this, and lighter, but again, I need the warmth of a 20-degree, and this one's really comfortable. I am in the market for another bag. I just don't know what I'm going to get yet to replace it. In the meantime, this keeps me really super comfortable. I've never been too cold or too hot in this, but the only thing that I want is more compressibility in my bag. I think this is small enough, but I want it smaller, and I want it lighter. So that's going to be next on my list to trade out. And I'll kind of let you know what I come up with. Right now, I have no idea what I want. There's too many options out there. So in the meantime, I'm just going to be stuck with this for my tent. I use the Big Agnes Copper Spur Ultralight 2. I decided not to go with a one-person tent. The reason why is that I want to be able to have enough room to pack my gear in. This UL2 wasn't that much bigger, wasn't that much heavier than the UL1, and I figured it's better to have more room than not. I've heard stories from people that chose a one-person tent thinking they're just the one person, but they have not been happy with it, and so I decided to go with the bigger option. And just in case I go backpacking with my husband, we don't have to buy another two-person tent. We can just kind of use this tent and repurpose it for that. And so far, I really liked it. It has weathered through a couple of really torrential rains, and I have not gotten wet at all. So I highly, I wouldn't say I highly recommend. I personally really like this tent. It's served me well. It's super light. It's super compactable, and it's, the only thing that you kind of think about is that if you don't stick it down, it'll blow away, because it is really so very light. But that's about it. So this is, the bag. These are the poles. And then this is the tarp that we made for $10 instead of paying $70 for the Big Agnes ground cover. This is my Wolfman tank bag. I really like it. It's not big and bulky. It's the light version. I think it's the Explorer light version, and I really like it. I have here my helmet lock, or it's a lock that I use to lock up my helmet. It's from Lewis and Clark. It's really small and it's lightweight. I've dropped it a couple of times, so I can tell you it's durable as well. And I just kind of tuck it underneath the map cover instead of having to dig around inside of the bag. It's just really convenient. It's kind of on the outside, and so it makes it easy for me to get to, so that if I can get to it easier, then I'll use it, and then I can lock my helmet. So inside the bag, I have all of my documentation, my registration, insurance, notepad. On the outside, I have my pen. It's funny, I asked them, kind of what this little tube thing, this elastic tube thing was for, and they're like, oh, it's for a pen. And I think, well, okay, that's great. I'll put a pen there, but I think it's also good for a pen gauge. Maybe that's what they meant, as a pen gauge. But this is where I stick my pen. So I always know that I have one there. So what else? I have snacks. I've got my monopod for my GoPro. I've got my Spot GPS tracker device. Very handy. There's a couple times that I was out of cell phone reach, and I really need to check in with my husband, and it was great. This is my miscellaneous bag. This bag did not come with the tank bag. It actually came out of my computer bag, but I make use of it. This is my Powerlet dual USB charger that I use to charge my phone when on the road. I just plug the socket into my BMW plug, and it works great. This is my miscellaneous stuff, I guess. My emergency whistle. This is my little tube that I store caffeine pills, because I'm an addict. If I don't get coffee, I get really bad headaches, so I keep my caffeine pills in this little red tube here. And what else? I have my chapstick tied to it, and I've got my suspension tool. In here, I just repurposed my kids' Pepto-Bismol tablets bottle, and I put my earplugs in here to keep it from getting squished. And this is a lighter. I never know when I go off for a ride. I don't have my panniers with my cook stuff, so I always have a fire source with me. And this is just a spray bottle of water to clean my visor, and a cloth to wipe down my visor. And that's my miscellaneous bag. Here's something that I'm sure nobody has. This is my side stand, kind of extra height, I guess. What happens is, when my bike is fully loaded, and it's on its kickstand, I have such a hard time riding it up and lifting it to go again, because it's so heavy that I have to use something to kind of make sure that side stand doesn't go all the way down, or not all the way down, but it's just so low. So what I do is I prop this under the side stand so the bike doesn't lean over so far, and I just yank it back up when I'm ready to go. So that's my, just because I'm so short that I need that for leverage. Also, I've got this, because my panniers take locks, this is the key to unlock it. It's quick and easy release, so I really like that. And here is my, of course, garage door opener that I have in my bag, so when I come home I can just click open the garage door and just kind of roll on in without having to get off the bike and go in. And I also carry with me a tire gauge, as well as my stop and go air compressor, so I can deflate and inflate whenever I need to. This is my OGO 2 liter, or 2 liter hydration bag, and it's a no frills bag. Really, you don't expect to carry a lot with it. It's strictly meant for your water bladder and maybe a couple of granola bars, because the pocket's really not that big. Not a lot of padding. It's ultralight, and specifically just made to carry water, and that's what it's for. This is my axe, and I need to learn how to use it. This is made by Fisker. It's the X7 series, and I used it once, and apparently I did not do it right because I had a heck of a time chopping wood, and my husband kind of told me that you can't just chop straight down. You have to kind of chop at a V. That's what's gonna, cut your wood. So I use it in case I run across a log that has blocked the road, or chopping firewood down, into smaller pieces. But I need to get more proficient at it. Right now it's just kind of just an optional thing. Until I actually learn to use it, it's just dead weight to me. But eventually I'll get better, better at using it. So that is all of my gear that I take with me. That's all I have. A lot of it is optional, but a lot of it also is necessary. So hopefully that kind of gives you a perspective of what I carry on my trips. This is my latest purchase, and it's a Moscow Moto Scout 30 dry bag. I really, really like this bag a lot. It's very well built. It's got it's the good thing about it. It's not a duffel. You don't have to unstrap it at all in order to get to the stuff inside. What I also like about it is it has this molly patch on it where you can lash additional things to the top of it, which is really, really handy and great. It's just very quality sewn, and once you get your things lashed there, it's really not going to go anywhere. The seams are great. There's a couple of handles here that you can carry with you. There's also comes with a backpack strap that you can wear as a sling, or you can actually hook it up and wear it as a backpack, which is super convenient when either going for a hike or bringing it to your hotel room. What I like really about this is that it's dual-ended, meaning that you can get into either end. For strapping it on your bike, I use rock straps. I don't use bungees ever on my bike. It's just, you hear horror stories of other folks hitting bumps or crashing their bikes, or who losing their gear whenever they use bungees. This rock strap is great. It's flexible, so that when you actually do take a bump and things jostle around inside your bag, the elastic portion of it kind of adjusts to the bag itself. So that's really super secure, and I like it a lot. I wouldn't use anything else except for something like this, or similar to this. It doesn't have to be rock straps, but they're the most popular brand. But what I like about it is that you don't have to unhook it at all from the bike the way you do with a duffel. You can really just unbuckle either end of the bag and get whatever you need out. So really super convenient, really super looking, very versatile. Packs down to such a small size, and also extends to a bigger size. So, check it out. Go to moscowmoto.com and check out what they've got. I think you'll be really impressed outside of the usual Ortlieb or Touratech or other dry bag stuff. These guys are really good products. Finally, the review on the Givi Trekker Outback. Yeah, these are the 37-liter bags, or panniers, and the pros of it. I'll give you pros and then I'll give you cons. The pros of it is that I think they look really, really good. They look good. It's got a great finish to it. They're lockable. They're a snap to get on and off. So it's really super roomy in there. So those are kind of the cons, or I'm sorry, the pros. The cons are, even though the lid comes off, it's still attached to this leash and this tether. And if they made the tether where it snaps off or unhooks, it'd be great. But it doesn't. The tether is screwed into both sides. It came with 2 tethers, but I took one out in case I wanted to take the lid off. I didn't have to fiddle with both tethers. I had to unscrew one. But still, for the design of it, they should have made it just not screwed in, but another way of lashing it. The netting, I made myself. It only took about 5 minutes just to get some netting and just get some bungee and just thread it through. But for little stuff, for documents, maps, and stuff, I feel that's a great place to put it. If I don't need to look at it kind of right away. So the con is that tether. The other con is that you can't ride with it unlocked. It always has to be locked. Like right now, I can't shut the lid and leave it unlocked. They made it intentionally that way. I asked them if there's a workaround, because what if I just wanted to go to the store and not have to worry about locking it? Well, they intentionally made it so that it's secure and that it always has to be locked. So that's kind of, I kind of wish that I had the option, but I don't. It has to be locked if you're traveling with it. The other thing that worries me is that this is plastic. This piece right here that is actually put on the bike, where it's held onto the bike, it's just made of plastic. I don't know how durable that's going to be if I take a spill, or kind of drop the bike. My other ones were Touratech, and they were really, the hardware that was used to attach the bike was really solid. This, I really am not confident in how well they're going to take a hit or a beating because it's made of plastic. So, I'll let you know the next time I drop my bike, because I'm sure I will. But right now, I don't have the confidence that it'll do well. And this cam system, it doesn't feel like there's enough surface for it to kind of grab onto. I really feel that it's gonna snap off. So that's, time will tell for sure. The other thing is that my Touratechs, I was able to bang out the dents. If this thing took a dent, I don't know if I'll be able to pound it back out or into shape. I'm just not confident in this aluminum material, or I don't know how well it will look if I was able to pound it out. So kind of those things are just kind of make the cons list, right? The other thing of this is it's heavier than the usual panniers. It's, I think, 12 pounds instead of the 10 or whatever some of the other panniers are. It's a little bit heavy, but I gotta say it is a snap to kind of get on the bike. really you just kind of put the plastic just on top of the screws. Oh, here's another thing. The screws, that's all that it is that's holding the panniers on the bike. These two little screws. I really, like I said, I can't see how durable that's going to be. So anyway, you just kind of slide the bottom brackets into there and just push it shut. And the latches right here will show green. Once it shows green, that means it's secure, and the bike is, or the panniers are on. And then you just lock it and walk away. That's pretty much how easy it is to, you know, put the panniers on. Well, this has been such a long video. It was much longer than what I anticipated. So thanks for sticking with me. I hope you got the information that you needed from it. And let me know if you have any questions. But I appreciate you watching, and see you on the road.